When it comes to solar, the most important part is always the inverter, because that is the workhorse of this system, but it's also the weak point of the system. So I tell everybody, if you're going to invest in solar, the most important part of anything is always the inverter. My name is Josh Shepard. I've been at Bright Eye Solar since 2020 as a solar consultant. When it comes to solar, obviously, the major benefits are it's a clean, renewable energy, but also it helps to save a lot of people money on their bills, thus making it, an incentive for everyone, not just people searching for green energy, which obviously is good, but it helps people save money on their bill as well. When it comes to solar, the most important part is always the inverter, because that is the workhorse of this system, but it's also the weak point of the system. So I tell everybody, if you're going to invest in solar, the most important part of anything is always the inverter. Two main types of inverters. You have your string and your micro. String is just like it sounds. All the panels are strung together, like Christmas tree lights. The other is micro, where they're independent. So the number one problem with the string inverter is when one panel has shading, they all have shading. Think of use the analogy of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. One light bulb's out and that Christmas tree lights, they're all out, right? That's the same thing with a string inverter. The other issue is it's only a 10 or 12 year warranty. But the main problem with a string inverter, if you have a 10,000 watt system and that inverter is down for any reason, you have 10,000 watts of non-producing power. You're dead in the water, so to speak. So I always recommend micro inverters, which are what we call parallel circuits as opposed to series circuits. One panel or one inverter will not affect the other, so they're all independent. They have a 25-year warranty as opposed to a 10 or 12, and as opposed to the string, which you could have the whole system down. If one inverter's out, just that panel is out. So in the case of 10,000 watts and you have a 400 watt panel, you're losing 400 watts, not 10,000 watts. So way better at troubleshooting, longer warranty, and you're always in AC current, so it's safer overall. People often ask, I have an optimizer in my inverter. Is that a micro? What optimizers do, it doesn't allow shading to affect, or what we call soiling in the solar industry. Soiling is leaves, pollen, snow, anything that can bring down production. So the optimizer will not allow this panel to affect this panel, or vice versa. It still is a string inverter, so all your current's still going down to a local big box in the side of your house that does all the inversion from DC to AC. So it's still a string, but shading does not affect it. Micro is still the preferred, option. Maybe I'll get into the RSD thing. So with the new NEC, which is National Electric Code guidelines, you have to have an RSD on every panel. RSD stands for Rapid Shutdown Device. Basically what that means is the current has to stop at the panel. There's no current flowing down to the knife switch. So with RSD regulations, micro already has it built in. So it qualifies for all the new NEC regulations. Number one thing we hear with solar is how expensive is it? So the average payback period in Pennsylvania, Maryland, are about 5 to 8 year payback. So basically what that boils down to is, what is your average electric bill? If your average electric bill is, let's say, $200, that means you're spending $2,400 a year on electric. If we assume no increases, that's $24,000 in 10 years. So right off the bat, you can roughly say, based upon the payback periods, where you're going to be about 18 to 20 grand after tax credits. That means in 6 years, you've gotten all your money back, and now you're just saving money every single month the rest of that life of that system, which is sometimes just 30, 40 years. We get questions a lot about battery integration and why we choose Enphase. So Enphase has the best battery on the market for a variety of reasons. The first being it's the only battery system, I should call it, that has double the amperage. Basically, you're going to get amperage from the battery as well as the solar system. So for example, if you have 3 batteries, that's about 75 amps of power. But you're also going to get, depending on the size of the system, up to 80 amps of solar power. So you're you're getting 155 amps of power to run more things in the house. The new battery system is lithium iron phosphate, which has no thermal runaway risk. The also good thing is you're getting twice the amperage from half the power. Many batteries will push out 30 amps, maybe say 50 amps from an 18 or 13 kilowatt hour battery. Enphase can push out 25 amps from a 5 kilowatt hour battery, basically because of the lithium iron phosphate chemistry.